I'm Allison. I'm here in my normal kitchen, my normal self, and today I'm making my husband's birthday cake. We are making a chocolate cake. We're using the chocolate cake recipe from How to Cake It, which is a YouTube channel I used to watch a while ago. She is known for cake decorating, so she makes these really fantastic cakes, which are structurally sound, so you wouldn't think that they taste good, but so far everything I've tried tastes really good. So that's what we're using today. I have ingredients here. I'll link the recipe down below. This isn't a tutorial, this is just me sharing my hobbies and actually doing things with my hands, getting off the computer and making stuff for my family. So let's get started. We're going to cream the butter and sugar together. It's gonna be really loud, so probably won't talk through this. But yeah, I don't know. I probably don't have the time to make really polished videos, and I don't know how to do that anyway. So I'm just sharing making stuff with other people, because I think that's what we need a little bit more of nowadays. So there's the butter. Now I'm gonna grab the sugar. 2.5 cups. I don't know about any of you, but we have lost all of our measuring cups, our 1 cup measuring cups. So I have to do everything in half cups or smaller, which is maybe a little more math than I would like. It's just simple addition, but sometimes I lose track, especially when cooking the little ones. All right, I'm gonna cream that, and while I do that, I'm gonna clean this up and get the next ingredient ready. Butter is sticking to the paddle, so I'll just do that. Try it. Okay, the butter and sugar has been creamed together. The recipe does say it needs to be creamed together for 8 minutes. I'm not doing that. That's just way too long. I don't have the patience for it. I don't think it needs it. Next up is the eggs. I'll be adding 4 eggs. I don't think that baking is a science, and people who say that, I mean, it is a science, but I don't think you need to be a scientist to be able to do it. I'll say that. I don't think you need to be as exact as people think they need to be. I think there's a lot of leeway in most recipes, and I just dropped some eggshell. So, I don't know, I cook with 2 little ones, and most of our desserts are not measured very accurately, and I think it tastes good anyway. And also, probably supposed to add these eggs one at a time, but can't be bothered. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Alright, so another thing that baking recipes always say is to whisk your dry ingredients together before you add them. I am not going to do that. First up, baking powder. We need 2 teaspoons. I only have a half teaspoon, so I'll be adding 4 of these. Something that I didn't learn until recently is that most baking powders have aluminum in them. So if you're trying to avoid ingesting aluminum or putting it on your skin, like I know a lot of deodorants are doing nowadays, you should look into that. I think we use Bob's Red Mill now. All right, now baking soda. I learned that from a YouTube channel, Roots and Refuge, so I highly recommend them. And now 1 teaspoon of salt. There was no vanilla called for in this recipe. I think I'm gonna add it anyway, and I'm gonna do that now with before I add the flour and so I just added all the little bits of the dry ingredients: baking soda, baking powder, salt. Now I'll add vanilla. Vanilla, I think, is measure with your heart type situation, just like chocolate chips. That looks good. these away. This away. All right, let's mix this a little bit. All right, so now I don't have a recipe on hand. It's on my phone and that's what I'm filming with. So I'm pretty sure it's alternate between dry ingredients, which is just flour for now for me, and the cocoa. Oh, I did do this before I started filming, but you basically just boil some water in a kettle or on the stove and then whisk in the cocoa that it calls for. So all those, the measurements are in the recipe that I'll link, like I said. And I'm going to start adding the flour. All right, we're gonna do probably 1 cup at a time of flour. We need 2 3/4 cups total. And some of this mixture, try not to get it on myself because it would stain. Oops, I got all over the ingredients. All right, please don't get on me. All right, you think I haven't done this before? All right, mix until it's just combined. I do see that it is struggling to combine in certain areas. Not sure if my paddle is just not adjusted right. So I'm gonna scrape it down with the spatula. Oh, now it's everywhere. I'm gonna get, I don't want this on me. I'm gonna get a paper towel. Or a plate. Alright, I don't own a spoon rest. I think it's one of those unnecessary things, but I would like one right now if I had one. Please don't get me one, Mom. Alright, another cup of flour. Again, I don't do exact measurements. I've always been fine. I wouldn't worry about it. People always complain about the American way of measuring with cups and stuff, but you could do grams. I think that's provided. I don't think it matters. You can do either, whatever floats your boat. And the reason I put my hands up here is because that's what I make my kids do, so it's just habit at this point. If their hands are here and mine are on top, then they don't go in the bowl while it's stirring. But I don't need to be doing that now, but it's just my habit. So I'm gonna do the same thing and scrape the sides. And put in my last 3/4 cup of flour. And my last bit of cocoa. Like I said, I don't think it matters that much just to get an exact measurement. So I eyeball it. I have a 1/2 cup scooper here. As long as I'm pretty close, it'll taste fine. I'm nearly at the end of my flour. I think that's a little bit more than 3/4, but there we go. And I'll put in the last of my cocoa. And there's a lot that has settled here. I should have whisked it. Oh well, that's what a spatula is for. Again, try not to get it on myself. And I'm gonna stir this a little bit with my spatula before I go straight into the stand mixer because I think it is full enough that it will come out of the bowl. Alright, that is just mixed. There's a little bit extra here that I'm going to scrape down. Mix that in myself with a spatula. I'm going to scrape my paddle attachment. Alright, I do think that the better way is to put parchment in here, but I'm just going to grease mine with avocado oil spray. There's nothing but avocado oil in here, which is a neutral oil, so that's what we're gonna use. Also, I think these might be pie tins. If these are cake tins, they're not straight walled. but I'm just making my family a cake. So I'm gonna use what I have. I don't need to get anything new. Those are greased. I'm going to put the cake mix in there. There might be extra, so I might have to get out another tin. Let's do this one. Probably off camera, sorry. All right, I think that does fill these two. All right, they are not quite even. They're not quite even, but I'm not gonna worry about it. That's the theme of my baking. All right, so I did try and preheat my oven, but I didn't start it in time. It is at 295, it's supposed to be at 350, and put them in anyway. I think they're supposed to be in for 20 to 30 minutes. Oh, I'll check at the 20-minute mark. While my cakes are baking, I'm gonna make the chocolate ganache. I prefer ganache over any other kind of icing. I actually don't like icing, even ganache, but if I'm gonna eat it, it'd be ganache. I don't have any heavy cream, which would be the easiest way to make this. So I'm gonna be making it with butter and milk. I think you just need a fat. So I'll be using butter and milk. I just found a recipe on the internet. I don't know if it's any good, so we're gonna give it a try. I'm going to warm half a cup of milk on the stove, just before, like it has a couple of bubbles around the edges, before it actually boils. You don't want your milk to boil. We don't have any smaller pots than this, so I'll be using this. Into this bowl, I'm gonna be adding, I don't know, it says, it calls for 3 cups of chocolate. We'll see how much we have, because this is quite expensive chocolate. Might use cocoa powder. That's a little under half a cup. I'll try having this one. 1 cup, 1.5 cup. Roughly 2 cups. Okay, I'll use one. Okay, and then I'm gonna need 12 tablespoons of butter, which I think is a stick and a half. I already have 2 tablespoons here and 8 here, so that's 10. Okay, so I do see my milk starting to smoke a little bit. I don't have my whisk anymore because it's dirty. Use a fork. I have a stainless steel pan. Don't use this on your nonsticks. I'm gonna chop up my butter into this chocolate to small amounts. Okay, so I have my nice mix of butter and chocolate. When the milk is warm enough, which is very soon, I'm just gonna add it in there, let it sit to melt all of that, and then I'll stir it together. All right, this is the milk just about done. You see how it has bubbles around the outside, maybe 1 or 2 right in the center, and it is steaming a little bit, but it's not boiling. So I'm gonna call that done right before a boil and move it into the chocolate mixture. Give it a little stir so that all mixes together, and then I'm gonna let it sit and just melt for a few minutes and then stir it more vigorously. I'm going to put this in the fridge and hope this sets up. It is extremely liquidy right now, and I'm very worried about that. So put it in the fridge, let's see if it sets up. Here we go. At this point, my family came home and I didn't want to film with them there, so here I am checking the cakes are done. Perfect toothpick test. Next up, check that ganache, see if it's set. And not even close. Nope. Alright, checking again. It's okay. Good enough to use. When I pulled the cakes out of the pan, it did crack, so I'm going to glue it together with some ganache. Before I did this, I did sprinkle it with some simple syrup. That is a tip from How to Cake It. You can see a little bit of that spilled over onto the cutting board. Icing with one hand while filming was a little difficult, so it's off camera and a little slow. And here's the second layer. It also cracked, but I'm filling that in with the ganache, not a problem. I didn't film it, sorry. Alright, there it is, and it's all its glory and mess. Okay, I cleaned it up, it's alright, don't worry. And I iced it with my boys. They wanted a Superman cake with their dad, so I made some buttercream and used food coloring. And my older son actually filled it in, so team effort. So it's been a week, and this is all that's left. So suffice it to say, it was a very good cake. Because it is lunchtime, I'm just gonna cut a very small piece now. Alright, and this is what it looks like. I don't know, can you get it? That's what it looks like. It's a very good cake, dark chocolate cake. The bottom is a little bit more fudgy now because the top weight has kind of crushed it, but honestly, that's my favorite part. That is a huge piece, cut it a little bit smaller. It has been quite the week. We've had snow day, and I got sick. My little ones got sick. I cut my bangs. They don't look great. Let's not talk about it. It'll grow back. But yeah, let's try some cake. It was very cold because it was frozen. I can't act surprised because I have been eating this all week with my family. This was not just me. But yeah, it's a very good cake. Highly recommend. Just really wanted to make this video to say it doesn't have to look perfect to taste good. It doesn't have to look perfect for you to do it, to make a cake, for you to enjoy a cake with your family. Just do it, because like, we made this weird Superman icing top. My 4-year-old really wanted to do that for his dad, so of course we did it. They wanted to use the extra icing to spread on the sides. Of course we're gonna do it. It just tastes good. It might not look the most beautiful, brown and red swirled together. But we didn't have enough to make a nice marble. Who cares? It tastes good. They wanted to do it. We had fun, and we sang happy birthday, and that's all that matters.